If I have practiced just a few of these exercises earlier, I would have saved so much time. I would really have loved if somebody had told me this way back. I bet you would too. Today I'll show you 3 exercises that will give you huge benefits in your practice and your playing, no matter what level you are. I remember myself practicing and unlimited practicing. Scales, technique and different exercises. But really practicing all these material and having no idea where to put it. I felt like I had all the ingredients to play jazz, but really no recipe. And these 3 exercises really changed a lot for me. Let's get into it. Scales, but not just up and down. So why do we actually play our scales? It's not a competition in just running up and down the scales. We actually need to make them really useful in our soloing. So when we're looking at the material we're playing or when we're playing jazz, of course we notice that every jazz standard has its own key and every chord in the tune is somehow connected to that key. So a small conclusion is, never practice your scales just meaninglessly up and down. So when we play our scales, we must practice them in a way that they reinforce the connection between the tunes and the chords we are playing into the scales. So what other reason should we have to play our scales? Let's take a jazz standard or whatever tune you are playing right now, and let's connect the scales directly into that tune. So looking at the tune Have You Met Miss Jones, when you break down the chords in the A section, you see how they perfectly fits over the chords of the scale. And you can directly add the scales into the tune you are playing. And this really makes sense because when you're playing your scales like this, you connect your scale sound into the chord sound of the tune. You learn to hear the progression of the tune through the scales. Let's take it one step further. When we're improvising with scales, we really do not want the scales to sound like scales. We want them to sound like a real jazz solo. So when you're taking the scales and adding them right into this 2-5-1, the A minor D7 G major, you get the sound of the chord, but you really do not get the sound of a solo. So instead of just playing the scales up and down over these chords, play the scales like a solo. And this means we need to change up the way we practice our scales. If you play your scales in any pattern, you can take this pattern and make a much more musical and jazz-like solo. So here I'm playing this 4-note pattern. Now just copy and paste this exercise directly into that 2-5-1. Remember that you need a little bit of tweaking to make these 4-note groups fit the chords. What I do is I focus on hitting those target notes. So now you already developed the technique, let's apply it to the solo. If you want to follow this lesson in writing, get the PDF on Patreon. It includes all the licks and all the lines and all the exercises made into beautiful licks that you can add directly into your playing. A great advantage of having the PDF is that you can pause the video and check out the PDF in your own tempo. I promised you 3 exercises. Here's number 2. So why are these thirds so powerful? Practicing thirds in the scale builds incredible flexibility and maneuverability on your instrument. Mostly because the third pattern forces you to change the direction of your fingers every time you play a third up and down. But we need to do more with the thirds. Playing the thirds as a robot just up and down does not work. The goal is of course to add the thirds in a musical way, exactly as the earlier scale exercise. Instead of just running up and down the scale with the thirds, we need to add creativity. Think of the thirds as a tool to reshape your solos. So why I'm really recommending the thirds is because in my own playing, when I'm practicing thirds, I feel that it's strengthening my flexibility and my maneuverability on the instrument. And it really develops the speed of my fingers. Further, the third interval as a structure has great musical value, which we're going to dig into right now. I repeat the same idea I had with the scales. I slice up that huge scale full of thirds into smaller bits that I can actually apply directly into my solo. When we're using thirds in our solo, more musical things are happening than just thirds in the scale. The third interval creates a natural enclosure to the coming tone. And another brilliant thing with the third interval is that it is a great turn when you come to the top of the line. You make an enclosure and then you can go down. And in this way the third interval is much more than just an exercise, it's actually a musical structure. Promise me to check out the lesson manual on Patreon. The PDF is fully loaded with lots of exercises and lots of phrases that are demonstrating these techniques and these ways to use them in your music. The link to Patreon and the PDF is in the description. We made it to the third exercise. This is all about fluency and flexibility. Jazz modulates really quickly and you cannot just stay in one key. When we're looking at our collection of beautiful standards, we see that they are all in an individual key. And even in the jazz standard itself, it has different keys. So now you probably know where I'm going. We need to be flexible in all keys. Taking a closer look at Have You Met Miss Jones? If you look at the bridge changes through 4 keys, making it a great example we have to dig into. One of the most useful things that I discovered when I'm practicing more keys is digging into a standard, finding out what keys are in this jazz standard and taking and practicing these keys exactly. I check out the different keys of the tune I want to play. Then I add my exercise into those keys. And this enables me to play the tune with the different key changes. In this instance, we have the 4 different keys of Have You Met Miss Jones. We have the C major, we have the A flat, we have the E major, and we have the G major. I would take different exercise and small phrases and add into these keys. Here I'm walking through the 2-5-1 to each key. You see that I'm using the scales in thirds from earlier and the 4-note patterns also used earlier. So take any key from any tune you are playing, and I can recommend to start with 2 or 3 different keys. Don't take them all. Start slow, start small. And in the beginning, I really run simple patterns. Don't make it complicated in the beginning. Changing the key is already a big thing. Practicing in different keys isn't just an exercise. It's actually the fastest way to feel comfortable in all 12 keys. These 3 exercises, scale application, playing the scales in thirds and changing the keys, practicing all 12, completely changed my playing. I can only recommend that you start working on these 3 exercises today. And I promise you, you will save years of hard struggle. And remember, you do not have to learn all 12 keys today. Just start. Get the PDF with the full lesson transcription and lots of bonus exercises and links. The lesson manual PDF download link for Patreon is in the description. If you want more insights from me, remember to subscribe. Since we're working with beautiful jazz lines, I can only recommend you to check out more John Coltrane. His lines are absolutely amazing, and the way he connects the scale into the chords, this is just genius. Check out this video. Play music, have fun.